Good morning, everybody. Thank you for listening to me this next 30 minutes. Let's see how it goes today. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's needed for design to influence enterprise change, a behavioral view on the enterprise. And the good thing is that I have the same starting point as intersection because it's all about us, humans. And I like to go into that. So when I was like 23, 24, I went into this market called information technology. The first thing I did when I went to my first customer is drove in the parking space. It was a big pension company. I standed there and I said to myself, okay, just what am I looking at? What is this? You see this building and what's happening in there? How are these people moving? How do they survive every day in this place? And I didn't know a lot about pension. I still don't want to know a lot about it. I don't have one, but it seems to be valuable for society. So what I learned to do every time since, and I didn't change it, and I didn't know actually why I did it, is the imagination of the enterprise is what it starts with, every time again. So what I have thought about is the Vitruvius man, or now it's not a man anymore, as you can see, but it was a man a long time ago. Now it's a lot of everything, and I think that's correct these days. And when we walk into an enterprise, we literally stand like this and we touch the enterprise. And that's what I like about the circles of intersection group. We constantly touch it, and we are the behavior of an enterprise. What is the enterprise? You know? And here you see some skills we can develop along our lives, and some of them, I must be honest, I would have loved them to understand them when I was 24. And not now, I'm 45, 46. Poof. I was a little bit late yesterday because I was ill. I was very short, until now, a pretty short period here at the conference, but I just very fast just added one slide to explain you something. Find the essence. This is a very old slide of a very old presentation. It is the same feeling every time again I go to a conference. It drives me crazy. I think after the last 2 days I can add a lot more and I can remove a little bit. But I will refuse to go to a hairdresser as long as the wig stays this long. I will cut it very short if we start to understand that we don't need it. It's way too much. Hype over hype over hype, and then we go left, then we all go right. But it seems to be that we are not willing to constantly go fundamentally back in what is an enterprise. What's going on there? And I see it becoming more and more complex, also sometimes in presentations, but it isn't that complex. But suddenly also you hear the AIs and the machine learning, and suddenly the last 10 years this is a complete hype again. I think, why? I still don't know why. I'm a physicist. I worked on the particle accelerator 25 years ago, and I still don't know what's the hype about today regarding then or 40 years ago. But it's probably my problem, and I will find out the next 40 years. Let's just go into a simple daily operation. What are we entering? We have these humans. They gather, they organize themselves. This circle you'll see here this green circle is the enterprise, and this beautiful one is the society. So we are people in a society gathering together in an organization. The purpose is unclear at this moment. And we could have multiple domains, because without domain we have probably no purpose. We need a domain to go out there and sell something. Or don't sell something, but it's just something the government needs to deliver. If it's positive or not, if it's purposeful or not, is a very important topic, but we will find out how hard it is to deliver something positive to society if you have a certain legacy in your let's go one step ahead. So we need to deliver outcome. I also use the circle, different color, outcome. We have the enterprise with domains in a society. And then if we build it up, we have society, humans, organization, product, service. There's a lot of debate always about it, but it's very closely related. The enterprise domain. I think now I'm getting in favor of enterprise architects at the moment. Capable, operation, activity, policy, task. Oh, we also have a task for a machine, a rule, information, and so on and so on. This list can be a lot longer, but this is how we can start. And then, okay. Interesting. So, purposeful is this. I didn't know how to find a symbol for purposeful, but this is okay, being strong or trying to be positive. But if you look at the enterprise, one of the things is that we in society, and this is actually what I think, what I always read on the side of intersection group, is what I call let's say the Coca-Cola effect. So if you drink Coca-Cola when you're very young, you identify yourself with Coca-Cola as a positive thing. Who identifies Coca-Cola with something positive in their youth? The rest is lying, for sure. In your youth, yeah, not now, but in your youth. Everybody, and eating chips like this, nobody? Come on. Are these honest people, Milan? I cannot imagine that so few ate chips and Coca-Cola. They even advise me when you get the flu, stomach flu, this is a solution for your stomach flu. Eat chips and Coca-Cola. At the end of the day, you feel better. But the identification with the enterprise and the experience of the enterprise, this is the beautiful enterprise. But, oh wait, this enterprise, based on events, delivers an outcome. It could be that even I first need to handle a task before they will deliver an outcome. And this is, at the moment, ridiculous. If you see what we in society need to deliver, the amount of tasks at a day to all those enterprises who want something from us, you can stop working and fill a whole week, especially when you get in trouble with governments in the West. It's ridiculous how much task we need to deliver. If you're lucky, we get a present which you call a product. Huh? The dependency to other enterprises from this enterprise, this is a simple enterprise, one domain. And what we see is that we have the same things, but this is a one-to-one. An enterprise has a one-to-many. We always talk about this enterprise, but this one is nothing without this one. So this is where complexity comes in. OKRs, purpose, so we want to go to this purpose and this next purpose and this next purpose, but that's what I like the presentation before me. All those statements, all those visions, I can't find a clear vision. And one of the problems is they talk about 2040, our government 2030. If I look around, we need to speed up. This is not fast enough. We are going way too slow. And with this war now, everything slows down even more, so the problems will increase. So becoming purposeful it feels for me a little bit too much like a dream. We are not acting. Brands, I know the intersection symbol of brand, and then I asked a designer, could you give me a symbol for brand? It's a lady, and she came up with this, with a bag, shopping bag with love. So that's funny. But at the end, yesterday we also saw that people are talking about we are actually a production system. Is the enterprise a production system? Who agrees on that? Who doesn't? Is there a difference between what we did a long time ago with this Taylorians working all or not? What do you think?
It might be a collection of production systems, collection of value streams, at least businesses are arguably government.
And turning around all those ideas in something useful, isn't that one production system and the rest, because change is change on itself, not an advanced production system? I personally think it is. I think, and that's why I also have a problem with all these terms like enterprise architecture, business architecture, solution architecture. For me, it's one. And nowadays, we have next to a CIO, we see a CTO and the the Chief Technical Data Officer. You get all those, and I think, why? It's all the same. So we are making it even more complex, more functions. It's growing massively. We are not reducing. Then the next view. Okay, so internally, we have also something to manage. We have those capabilities. So the one domain has capabilities, core capabilities, but if you have multiple domains, they probably have also something to share. Let's pull them outside. If you share something, this is to share across domains. At the same time, we also have HR and other stuff to share. So this both is a lot and it's complex. And I don't know many enterprises where they have only one domain. So this presentation is still a very simple view of the enterprise. Still delivering the same as I said. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, now it's getting interesting. So to deliver an outcome, let's call it a product or a service. If there's an event, why, when I turn 17, why do I not get a present from the government and say, you're 17 or 18, each country is probably different, you are now allowed to get your driver's license, here you get a 50% discount. Why do I need to go to the instances, and why doesn't the instances come to me? They know everything about me, but things I can profit out of society, I don't get. And maybe I'm clever enough to gain them from these complex enterprises, but I see a lot of people who are not capable of having a mindset or structure at home to manage the enterprises coming to them. That's funny. And we are actually lacking a lot of service out of society because of that. The other way around, so the products being delivered, or we have one capability can exist out of multiple activities to deliver an outcome. Sometimes people need to perform tasks. We can have some clever capabilities which use a rule engine or something, and we are not involved anymore as persons. Oh, we need to integrate everything. We need to get some data. We need to know how to make information of it. And nowadays, everything is an API. This seems probably for everybody who's in this industry, like let's do it. Let's just do it. But if we grow this, so if you put this picture on the current state of an enterprise, the complexity you will find blows up immensely. So what we need to do is build up a system to migrate to a simple picture and get all this knowledge out of the current enterprise as fast as possible, become adaptive and move forward to become purposeful. Are we going to do that? Is that possible in a certain speed? I don't know. Are we capable to become more purposeful? Are we capable? We like to become more purposeful, but are we capable of doing that? Purposeful is positive. Can purposeful be negative? I believe so. We don't like it. We know some guy at the moment around the world who thinks purposeful is negative. So that's funny. So it's in the eyes of the beholder if it's positive or negative. It at least is impact, and we feel it, impact. Purposeful is. So what is purposeful? We want to become purposeful, so we need to be really good at defining what it means. Design is innovation, emotion. So design is also a lot. It's a desire. We want to change the world. So first, by dreaming and imagination and by design, I think it's one of the most important and first steps which happen in everybody in different ways. But then the change comes. And this change, it's no sense of changing one product and be proud. It's beautiful, also from a designer perspective, it's beautiful. But if I look at an average municipality in the Netherlands, How many products does one municipality deliver to society? Who likes to guess? How many products? The Netherlands, 10,000. So one municipality, governments, central government, 20,000. This is only a rough guess. They actually think it's a lot higher. So becoming purposeful is getting rid of a huge amount of complexity. And if you go into these, or I'm now doing the tax office in the Netherlands, which has some big problems last couple of years. They are all locked in on each other internally. They did so much about procedures, methodologies, now skilled, agile. I'm an anti-agilist because as long as we do not fundamentally change our operating model, all this stuff is only making it more complex. I've never, in all those 20 years, actually hardly any of those methods really work and repetitively work in a lot of enterprises. So we all propagate. I'm also a prophet in propagating a lot. But do we really see it work? So I came up together with Bart Papagai by talking a lot about what is it actually about. And I heard today the same speed, but if it's the same speed, it should also be in the same direction, sort of same direction. I also like the fact that's one of the first statements that let's make profit, but don't make profit more important than being purposeful. That's also for governments. Why can they, in the Netherlands, there's a commercial event going on and the commercial market is allowed to put in 1 million. Or that costs them 1 million to organize an event. Then the government, and they can just throw in 10 million and they organize a ridiculous event, but they make a lot of cost. Why are they allowed to constantly throw out all this money and what are we getting back for it? So we need to be looking at them and say, okay, stop. It's enough. The balance is like this. I don't understand why we allow it. So all those little startups fighting for their existence, and then we look around and we see that we are just getting demolished more and more and more. But same direction, and then when you're doing it all together, so for me, flow is the whole enterprise moving. And then the question, is that possible? Is it possible to get everybody moving in the same direction? I think it is. I really think it is, even if it's a big enterprise. And we have good examples, because look at Boeing is one of the good examples. Why is it possible that 3,000 engineers working on a Boeing delivering an airplane? It's possible, they are doing it. 3,000 people working at it at the same time. And we say, you know, we need all those small autonomous groups. I believe so. But then on the scale of an enterprise, are we walking in the same direction? Who's going to create that? I don't see a lot of top managers around doing that because they don't understand their own complexity. So yesterday when I was looking at the presentation about UX, for me that was a complicated matter, not a complex matter. Complex is looking at the whole. How complex is it to manage it? So I'm a physicist and I like to watch and read and study a lot about complexity and what is flow. And one of the things is, I had some discussions over the years also with Wolfgang, and Wolfgang says, this flow stuff, it's metaphysics. And he triggered me by that, because partially, he might be right. And why is that? Why is the metaphysics part in it? So we live in a world where we understand logic. Logic can move us forward. Logic can make us distinct from the rest. When we realize something, it's up. It's the stairways to heaven. But what we all like to achieve is this emergent state. Something happens. Here is the metaphysical part. I have your answer. Something happens, but we don't know why exactly. When you achieve flow in your head, you might support it a little bit by some meditation, sport, sex, good sleep, whatever, but at a certain moment it exists. Do you know exactly why? What was the trigger to get there? No. The only thing you know is, if I start building up supportive elements to create it, it will happen while we do not know why. And we will never, ever know why. It's impossible for us to know. So, flow is something above causality. So causality is easy. The most things I see around is still causal, and we don't go and try to go in the unknown, and we need to go there to speed up. So for me, it's a request, everybody, emergent systems based on a great vision, storytelling by leaders, achieving your goals, looking beyond the horizon, to the horizon, and achieve your steps every day, constantly adjust, means that how to get this flow done. Flow is flow more important than purposeful? I think so. Because all these good ideas, the positive intentions, if you can't change, if you can't move, you won't deliver it. So focus on constant change. Don't talk about projects anymore. We really need to stop talking about projects. It's one constant flow forward, and think everything is the same. So I am a big believer, and I'm doing it. We always discuss about, can you get rid of all your legacy while you're moving forward? We have all technology in place to do it. We can constantly go from all these big old systems to the new ones. Sometimes, let's say, this COBOL system, it's still working great. Why do we need to get rid of it? Keep it there, no problem. But do not call it legacy. Why is it legacy? The whole legacy thing is also something we say, okay, time, money, only a few. Sometimes leave it there. Move forward, and it will over time just die out if you don't need it anymore. But we don't need to replace everything. But most of it, if you want to, you can. I'm doing it now. Big mainframe system at the tax office where I'm just migrating it step by step, no problem. How to get it done? This is not what my presentation is about. That's where I have workshops. So how to build up all those supportive elements. And these, for me, I 10 years ago when I wrote my first book, I said, which are the 5 elements which really keep us going? And I think, first of all, is the human part, always, forever. Governance, 2 sides. Organizational, if you have an operating model, let it focus on organization of work first, always. Otherwise, you disrupt your organization, you will never move forward. And you need substantive governance. That's how do you carry along your knowledge? And I'm going to disappoint people with architecture background. I don't believe in models in this case. I believe in real time, sucking out all we have now moving forward. And we can do that already. And we need some tools to gain some view and insight, but they are not holy. Actually, they are static. They keep us on moving forward because we're constantly discussing about who wrote this model, is it right, how does it relate to reality. We create also a lot of models which actually never come into production. Why are we doing that? IT production, so those 2, also technology and infrastructure, they all support the production system. And in this case, I'm not talking about producing a car. This is really the production system of the enterprise from a digital perspective, not the hard production of a Toyota, for example. I have not a lot of knowledge about it while I study that kind of stuff. So yes, the behavioral part of everything is us. So we can change it. We can say, let's become adaptive and deliver whatever is purposeful to society. And maybe even merge with each other because we're all delivering the same vision, same statements. Why don't make one company, for example? All right, thank you. This is my story.